infarction. Today's topic is mainly heart attack. And these are the coronary arteries, especially two coronary arteries. Here you can see 2 number, right coronary artery, and this 5 number, this over here. You see my cursor, follow my cursor. This is left main coronary artery. It has 2 branches, like for example, this 4 number, circumflex coronary artery, and this is 3 number here, left anterior descending coronary artery. The maximum artery that the blockages that we get is this one, circumflex. So nearly 70-80% will be here, nearly 20% will be here, 2% will be here, and only 5% will be here in the right coronary artery. We are going to talk about acute myocardial infarction. The main complaint is a severe retrosternal constricting pain. Remember this word. It's a very, very severe pain. Don't forget it. Angina pain is not that much serious. Number one. Angina pain is after exertion, after climbing up the stairs, after climbing up the... But this heart attack, the patient can get at a resting condition. When he is sitting, when he has slept, he can get the attack. So this is the main difference in angina and myocardial infarction. This is more severe and it can come at the rest also. Secondly, it is radiating. Angina pain is also radiating. Sometimes it go on the left side of the hand, then left shoulder, then the jaw portion, neck portion, and even abdomen, epigastrium. Above the umbilicus, the pain can be there also. Next is vomiting and nausea. The most important, that's why here red, profuse sweating. From top to bottom, there is a lot of perspiration and sweating. All his clothes become wet. Patient is restless. He cannot speak to you. When there is a profuse sweating, only 2 causes: heart attack and number 2, hypoglycemic coma. When the blood sugar in a diabetic patient, goes below 40 or 60 milligram per 100 ml. Every diabetic patient must have glucometer in his home. Glucometer is mandatory. So remember these words. Next, there may be sometimes incontinence of urine and stool in the heart attack. What is meant by incontinence? What is meant by incontinence? That the patient passes the urine or stool without his control. I request all of you to close your mics, please. There is mic is going on. I will have to check whose mic is then. Then, complete rest, even bedpan gives to the patient, should be given to the patient. That means what I mean to say, that means whenever there is a urine and stool and patient say, okay, doctor, I have, or otherwise nothing, relatives are telling you, doctor, the grandfather wants to go to the toilet. No. Whenever you suspect the heart attack, absolutely no movement. Absolutely no movement. Make the patient lie down on the bed. If he is sitting, make him lie down. If he is standing, automatically he will fall down. But lying down on the bed or on the surface, ground surface, is most essential. Absolutely no movement. Even he wants to pass the urine, give him the bedpan. Give him the whatever vessel you have at home. Make the weight his bed sheet. No bothering. But don't allow to move him. Don't allow to move him. That is most important. Next. Why these symptoms takes place? If there is sympathetic stimulation, then you will get the tachycardia. Pulse rate will be around 100, 110, 120. Excessive heart rate. Palpitation will be there. Restlessness. Most important is the restlessness and the sweating. These 2 symptoms are much more important in acute myocardial infarction. By chance, in very few patients, 20% people, there may be parasympathetic. There may be, in heart attack also, pulse rate will be low, say 60, 70, 50, maybe, because parasympathetic stimulation will be there. But 90% you will get tachycardia, palpitation, restlessness, and sweating. Next, we will go further. Slide number 17. Atypical myocardial infarction or silent infarct. Here is a printing mistake. I will like to correct it. Atypical Do you remember? We have seen also the atypical forms of angina. Atypical form, not routine. Similarly, here the myocardial infarction, there are some atypical form. What is that? No pain. Remember, although it is a heart attack, there may not be pain, and that is called as a silent infarct. In which patient you will get? Mostly these patients. Number one, diabetes mellitus. For 5 years, 10 years, he may get heart attack, but there will not be pain. So it's very difficult to diagnose. Remember my words. But there will be palpitation, there will be restlessness, patient will unconscious, drowsy. Are you getting that? So here sweating will be there, but no pain, remember. In hypertensive, HT, hypertension, if the patient is more than 65 years, elderly, or middle age, and especially post-operative, he had done the operation of appendicitis, hernia, prostate, abdominal surgery, and after 4 or 5 days, he may get the attack, but it is or it will be without pain, which is called as silent infarct. Next, in some patients, very rarely, of course, this is very rarely, there will be sweating in the old people or vomiting. Sweating will be there, vomiting will be there, but by chance, pain may not be there, but it is a heart attack. These patients are rare, I know. This is only in 10%, all these four groups. But these are the atypical myocardial infarction. And it is very difficult, I know, it is very difficult to diagnose. What is the only solution? Each and every Ayurvedic, allopathic, homeopathic, naturopathic doctor must learn to do the ECG, electrocardiogram. They should purchase portable ECG machine and keep it in your clinic. That is mandatory. And then only you can rule out whether the case is of myocardial infarction or not. Only that is the way in atypical. Then third one, there will be sudden breathlessness, dyspnea, like constricting. Patient feels suffocating. I cannot breathe. I cannot. Dada, kya hota hai tumhala? See my facial expression, see my action. But I am not complaining of pain. Breathlessness is there, dyspnea is there, at rest, difficulty in breathing, but no pain. That's why that is atypical. Then sometimes there will be acute confusion, severe unexplained weakness. Elderly patient, grandfathers, uncle, they are moving at home slowly, and all of a sudden they sit in the chair. काय काका काय झालं तुम्हाला काय झालं काका कसं होतंय मला. He will say only feeling of weakness, no chest pain. Remember my words. So these all cases are called as atypical myocardial infarction or silent infarct. This is very difficult to diagnose. Only you have to make the ECG. Next. How you can diagnose all the cases, not these only four, all previous routine cases. Number one, patient will be restless, like he cannot lie properly. Although you are saying, "Dada padun raha, tumi dada padun raha," he will be irritable. He cannot on this side, on left side, lateral side, centrally, but he will be get irritation, restless. Then profuse sweating will be there. Cold extremities, hands and legs. If you touch like this, they are very, very cold. Remember my words. Cold extremities, profuse sweating. These are the signs of shock. These are signs of shock. Remember. Then patient will look anxious, worried. His face like a pale one. Pale, P-A-L-E, pale face. Then pulse, there may be bradycardia or tachycardia or normal. Anything can happen. BP may be low or may be high or may be normal. So on pulse and on BP, you cannot diagnose the case. Remember, only sweating, pain, these are the important symptoms. Next, whenever there is doubt, this word is very important. Doubt, Do the ECG, no alternative. You must do the ECG. By stethoscope, you may get, you have to, of course, you have to check the pulse, you have to check the BP, you have to check the respiratory rate, auscultate his chest, heart sounds, lung sound, everything. And at the base of the lungs, at the bottom, there will be very important basal crepitations. Don't forget this, basal crepitations in heart attack. Basal crepitations, very important. Like water is moving. That is crepitation, or rough sound, like polishing paper you are brushing. So these crepitations will be there because there is a pleural congestion. I am sorry, pleural congestion is there. That is also called as a pulmonary edema sometimes. Pulmonary edema. What are the ECG findings? Number one, ST elevation. Most important thing. ST segment will be elevated slowly, and after 24 hours, remember this word, after 24 hours T inversion. It may not be there simultaneously. ST will be there and T down. No. First ST elevation, then T inversion. Remember, after 24 hours, T will be inverted. Now, these are the types of the MI, myocardial infarction, type 1, type 2, type 2, and type 2. What is there? Number 1, only vasospasm. The word is here, vasospasm. Then, fused atherosclerosis, this narrowing over there, and supply demand imbalance. The oxygen wants more and there is less oxygen because of this narrowing. Then, supply demand imbalance is only the alone condition. So these are the different varieties. Sometimes there will be spasm, sometimes narrowing will be there, and all this just for this is not so important for your practice. Now here, myocardial infarction. Very interesting picture, you can draw it in your examination. As a result of blocked left anterior descending coronary artery, here may be the block, and all this part, only this much part is black, necrosed. Only this muscle is necrosed. So this is a mild heart attack. If that muscle is this one, moderate heart attack, and all muscle is damaged, severe heart attack. So you can show this, draw this diagram at your examination. Now, area of the infarct, remember area. For example, in the lateral infarct, whenever there is a lateral wall infarction, I will show you here. This is called as a lateral wall. Then what is the another is a anterior septal. So here, anterior septal wall defect. So accordingly, you will find the changes at different lead. Here the spelling is L-E-A-D, leads. 12 lead ECG is done. 12, remember the number 12, 12 leads. Then first, second, third, AVR, AVL, AVF, and chest leads are V1 to V6. Okay. So all these are things only diagrammatically, but I have explained it in another way. This picture is more important according to me. This is isoelectric line. See the cursor. See the cursor. This is the base, and above that base, this P, Q, see, Q, R, S, and T. This is R. This is R above, top. This is R, and this is S, and this is T. Remember, this is T. Here carefully. So this ST segment, actually, what happens? S is down and T again up. But here both S and T points are above this line. That is called as a ST11. Here also. This is point R, top point is R. S normally it is here and T again up. But now S is also up, T is also up. So that is called as a ST elevation. You must draw this figure in your examination. And you have to mug it up all this table. Here it is given the area of infarct, how you can diagnose if the changes are there about this ST segment, where it is, where you should check. If the changes are there in V1, V2, V3, V4, that is anterior wall. V1, V2, V4 at the front side, V1, V2, V4. You remember where we have to put the electrodes. Then first lead, AVL and V5, V6. always on the side. Remember, here we put the leads. Na? Here V1 to V4, anterior side. Here V5, V6, this is lateral side. So lateral infarct, anterior infarct. Anterior infarct, lateral infarct. Can you understood? I am standing so that you can understand where I am showing you. So V5, V6 is always lateral. Then all V1 to V6, that is called as the anterolateral. Anterolateral. V1 to V3, anteroseptal. Anteroseptal. And in inferior, this will be second, third, and AVF. Second, third, and AVF. You have to read these all the things more times, and then only you will understand. But by principle, I am telling you here. This is my left hand. Remember, this is my heart. So V1, V2, anterior side. V5, V6, lateral side. V1 to V3, center, nipple, below nipple. These leads are affected. ST elevation is there. This is anterolateral. Okay, and this is inferior infarct. So this is regarding how you can diagnose where may be your problem, but that is not actual necessary part for your general practice. Just this is a theoretical aspect. This is most important for your practice. Which type of the blood investigations you must ask in your examination, in your oral, in your viva, you must mug it up. These are all blood investigations. Number one, CPKMB. This is the name of the test. This is the name of enzyme. Okay. SGOT is a liver enzyme. LDH. And here again spelling mistakes. I am sorry for that matter. I will correct it. This is cardiac troponin T. Very, very, very important. Right on there. Very, very, very important. Cardiac troponin T blood test. Why this is important? Because all these above values can become little bit late, but this value is high within 5 hours of the heart attack. So this will give you that yes, in the last 5 hours he has some attack. So this is cardiac troponin T. This is costly test but very confirmatory. Costly but confirmatory. Then this is also important, serum myoglobin. Very sure if it is positive. If this level is high, you can diagnose that this patient is definitely suffered from heart attack. Serum myoglobin. Now, here is the explanation why these enzymes are more. All these enzymes are coming from the cardiac necrose tissue. Blood is there, and from that blood, that cardiac necrose tissue, that enzymes are poured into the blood. This is theoretical aspect. Somebody asks you why these all the values are high. You can tell them that from the heart muscles, enzymes are poured into the blood, and so the level is high. When there is a muscle degeneration, SGOT is increased. Remember, whenever it may be the liver degeneration, liver muscle degeneration. It may be cardiac muscle degeneration, SGOT will be high. So SGOT is indicating muscle degeneration. Because in the jaundice patient, remember difference. Two things are different, SGPT and SGOT. Both are LFT, liver function test. SGPT, SGOT. In jaundice, both are high. But in heart attack, SGPT, no relation. SGPT, no relation. What is the relation of SGOT? You should be very specific. Okay, what is the treatment? Of course, this patient, heart attack, should be admitted in the hospital. But before hospitalization, remember this. What you people in your clinic can do, what you doctors at your home you can do. What you can do? Number one, immediately give the tablet Sorbitrate that we have already discussed in angina. Sorbitrate 5 mg tablet sublingual here below your tongue. Number two, tablet Disprene. That also we have discussed. Antiplatelet Disprene, acetyl salicylic acid Disprene, 100 mg tablet. This is a soluble tablet. Take a glass of water, put the tablet, dissolve it, drink the water. So this tablet, Disprin, should be dissolved in water, not chilling or not engulfing with the water. Then result will be very fast. If there is a severe pain, this injection is not commonly available with the general practitioner because it is a restricted drug. But yes, if you have this drug, it is analgesic, severe analgesic. It can control the pain very well. Injection Fortewin. If you are doing internship, clinical posting, houseman, registrar, you must know this name. Injection Fortewin, 30 milligram intramuscular. By chance, if the patient has bradycardia, very rare, only if it is bradycardia, pulse rate is below 60 per minute, then only you can give injection atropine. Only if bradycardia, injection atropine 0.3 to 0.6 milligram intravenous. Be careful, it should be followed by your senior orders. If the patient is known case of left ventricular hypertrophy, LVH, like a CCF, left ventricular hypertrophy, then there should be congestion. There will be congestion. And to remove that congestion, diuretic. Injection Lasix is a diuretic. Injection Lasix is a diuretic, which increases the urine output. Urine output will be more and congestion will be reduced and pain will be reduced. If BP falls very rapidly, of course, in any way, you have to call the 108 ambulance in Maharashtra state in India and shift the patient immediately as earliest as possible for the CCU, cardiac care unit. Remember, ICU, CCU. Next. So these are the normal ECG. This is where P, it's a revision. Q, R, S, and T. That's why I have shown this is called as a isoelectric line. And you remember that I have shown you that ST will be here, ST. So that is above ST elevation will be there. Next. Can you see over here ECG signs of MI? This is normal, P, Q, R, S, and T. Now can you see here? See the cursor. This is ST elevation. Remember this, you have to draw this figure in your exam. This is ST elevation. Here, T wave inversion, because T wave is here normally, but it is inverted at down. T wave inversion is there. And sometimes there will be pathological Q wave. That means Q wave is very little here, little. But if Q wave is big, remember, big, big, big. Q wave is always small. Physiologically, Q wave is always small. But if it is big, then you can diagnose it as a case of necrosis. Okay. This is in short about the myocardial